All right, man. It's been a minute. You want to bring us in?
It's been a minute. What's good, guys? This is the most consistently inconsistent podcast that you will ever listen to in your
You
life.
already know.
But if you're here because you love us, and if you love us,
Yes.
you know what we do.
Yes.
It's your boy Jay Wills,
boy,
alongside my wonderful
JT.
co-host. You know,
JT. What's going on, man?
we're here, man. You know, filmmakers of the world. Thanks for tuning in. Filmmakers and creatives alike. Actually, I can't just say filmmakers because we're doing this for like all of us.
Yeah, it's all bunched together at this point.
At this point, yeah. I mean, like, shoot, like, at this point, I feel like it's not even just like we're all bunched together. We kind of have to come together because we're like in this weird space. We're still in this weird space, as we've said many times. We're like things are very condensed. So you know what? Even more than ever, we have to be very like picky with who our team is and who we trust, because you have to have like very diverse teams. And like I'm actually saying that from experience. Like being on, like, I've been on a few sets. I can't say post COVID because we're still like in this weird like thing, but I've been on a few sets where it's like if you've ever seen, if you're on set, if you're not on set, if you've been on set before and you're on set now, like you're seeing the difference. Like you're going from like these big 20 team shoots to like 10, because especially with restrictions, it's like you're allowed to have 20, 15 people in a room. So it's like you're making sure your team for shooters is 10, so that way like talent and everything, there's room for talent. Yeah, I've been on a few shoots. Shout out to the homie Dennis. He's brought me out. Like as much as like I'm more like looking to do directing, and like like I love cinematography, and DOPing is like a second nature to like what I do, and like I love it. Like coming up, you know how it is. But he's brought me out. Like I've been bugged. Like he's one of those people that like I seen him come up, because I remember a few years ago we did something for Raheem, and he was
I was there. I remember that.
Yeah, you're there too. We have the BTS.
I was shooting behind the scenes.
Have the BTS. Yeah. So like he was there, and he did he was ACing for like, and that's like a very DIY style shoot, where it's like we had one DP, he had his AC, I was directing, we had our crew, or not our crew, we had our cast of 2 people, had the artist there, and the artist management, had Josh doing BTS, and like that was it. I remember this. And that's when I met Dennis, and then after, it's like I've seen Dennis grow and evolve, and then I was just kind of like, he's one of those people that I hit all the time. I'm like, yo, this shit looks dope. Like, yo, bring me out on set, and it's like my thing is like knowledge is power. So like I just like being on set just to learn and see things, just so I know how to talk to my DPs, and I know how to talk to my set designers. And like if I can get any role, even PA, just to be on set, just to see how people are communicating and like learn certain things, then like I'm there. Like I'm there. I've been there second ACing, and like that's like I'm not doing much, but I'm like people might not even notice it. I'm like this very like I'm very fly on the wall. I might be on my phone. I might be like I take my little pictures here and there, like BTS stuff, and it's like not even stuff to post. It's just like, all right, cool. Here's the setup for today. Here's what the kid looks. Here's what this looks like. Here's what this looks like. All right, cool. Now I know when I'm on set, and like when I'm only allowed to have 3 or 5 people, or it has to be very DIY, and I have to DP and direct it myself. Here's like lighting setups that we've done in the past that worked. Here's like, you know, here's the ways that people communicated if I have to communicate with my DP, and like so forth. Like just learning that stuff. Like I mean. Yeah, bro, that's literally funny enough. That's what I've been up to. I mean,
you know what's funny? I actually
segued into that, but that's what I've been up to.
Yeah. I saw. I actually think I saw him the other day driving on the road, and I was like, I'd be like, "Yo," but then like he passed by. I won't say on the podcast so people knows what car he's driving, but I'll ask you after, because I'm like, I'm pretty sure I saw him drive by that day. Yeah. But yeah, man, I've been seeing all your posts on IG, following there, because clearly COVID, barely seeing each other. So it's like it's been looking dope, the sets you've been on and stuff like that, and like all the things I see you're doing. So it's cool. But I get what you're saying with the whole thing with the condensed teams. Like, do you feel like what's happening as a skeleton crew? So it just feels like, does it feel like there's less people on set, like it's more work to do, or is it like
it's crazy? Feels the same, because like the thing is that I'm now venturing off to being in these crews because like
Hmm.
my roles in a lot of things have always been more around directing.
Yeah.
So like getting those big gigs that allow me to have a crew is like very
Hmm.
sparse, bro. Like I
Yeah.
feel like because I'm still new, I don't have much portfolio for like music videos and commercial, like the higher skill
Hmm.
music, like or not music
Hmm.
videos, but certain stuff. It's like everything's still very DIY. So it's like I'll
Yeah.
be by
Yeah.
myself. Like there's not enough budget for me to hire a crew, but like things are
Hmm.
changing now, and like me getting in some of these situations is like I'll probably like let's say I've been on like three sets before COVID, and now that like I've been on just as much now, like during like this post COVID, like allowing a little bit more people, but we're still
You
in
know
COVID.
what? It's been kind of crazy for, I feel like, filmmakers, content creators, like every role you want to say within that whole space. Because since COVID's happened, I feel like there's been so many people doing more, almost in a way.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like, tell me
yeah,
if you think I'm wrong, but I feel like there's been so many people doing more, being on set more, shooting more. Like, clearly everything has been, like, I've noticed communication is now all online. So every
yeah,
company, every brand, every person needs to like change their strategy of how they're communicating. But I've noticed a lot of people lately have been uh, doing a lot more stuff, and it hasn't slowed down. It's slowed down production a lot, but it's also ramped up certain types of productions on a smaller scale. I feel like, in a
yeah,
way,
yeah,
like
yeah.
like how you're saying, with a smaller team and stuff like that. So it's interesting to kind of see what's going on. Like, now that we're further into this
Yeah,
pandemic, like, it's kind of surreal that like we're still in it and we have no idea
we're
what it's
still
gonna
here.
end like. Like, future us is probably like laughing at us right now, saying, "Ah, it's okay," or it's not. Like, shit, who knows?
Past us was confused as hell. Present us is
Hmm.
still confused. Like I remember we talked about this like when this first started, and we're just like, yo, what the
Yeah.
hell? Like, what's next? Like, what is things gonna be like? And now that we're hearing the
Hmm.
what are things looking like, it's just like it's very interesting. Like they even just dropped the grant for RBC MVP, and like seeing some of
Hmm.
the things is like I know this is always what it's been like, where it's like there's some director producer like
Yeah.
things that were mentioned, and I'm just like, okay, shoot, like teams have to be so small that directors are producers, producers are directors. You know what I
Which
mean?
is funny though, because like, even like our come ups, it's been doing multiple hats, right?
Oh
So it's
yeah.
like, I feel like it's kind of funny. It's this weird conundrum where the world has changed into like what the type of lifestyles we were living
We've been living,
prior.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
you
like
know what I mean?
it's crazy because like now that I'm starting to like expand and really getting like this whole team thing down, it's
Yeah.
like we're not allowed to have these big teams, but it's like my whole idea of having a team is getting the people to do just what they need to do and not having 20,000 people. Because like why do I need, I get certain things, but it's like why do I need 10 people just to move the lights when it's like I can get 3 or 4 guys, maybe 2 guys that will do a really good job with the lighting,
Hmm.
and whoever whichever other group
10
has.
guys moving lights is crazy. Unless it's like a huge,
Yeah, it's like
huge
there's
thing.
like I've been on a server like it was like yo, there's like let's say like there's 5 guys huddled around a light and like they're just holding lights. So it's like yeah, man. So like so these lights are crazy, aren't they? These lights are pretty cool. Yeah, yeah, man. These lights are cool. Oh, so
That
like
reminds me of like union guys that are just like can just chill.
it's like a union job. It's like yo, you're required to have 5 people, but it's like 3 of those 5 people are doing shit. But it's like so, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like I feel like if especially like I don't want to say for what you're getting paid because like get paid to do
Yeah.
what you're doing, but it's like I
Hmm.
feel like especially with the climate of everything now, we all work so hard that's like yo, maybe the producer can double as like an art director or something like that where it's like on prior to like setting up the shoot and everything, you're producing stuff, but on the shoot it's like everything kind of falls into place because you already organize everything. So now it's like what other hat can you wear
Hmm.
during the day of the set, so that way it's like we don't need to have that extra 2 people. So now it's like you get an assistant that's gonna help you on the art directing. So
Yeah.
like for the day of, like yeah, do that. And after it's like, all right, cool. Let's say we have camera and like the camera and the AC or whatever. And it's like once the camera's built out and everything, and like we're waiting for the set to be done, the
Hmm.
DP and the AC can help the gaffer with the lighting. So now it's like, okay, cool. We don't need the lighting. We don't need lighting to have like 5 people on staff. Maybe they have 2 people, the 2 main people, and after, you know, shifting things like that. So now it's like, okay, a team of 6 people are getting like a job done that previously, or like, I guess, say, let's say for the older generation requires 20 people, but you know,
Yeah.
we're all very
Mhm.
versatile. A lot of DPs, which to be a DP, you need to know lighting. So it's like, why not help
Mhm.
the lighting guy? You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
For sure.
Same thing with AC. The AC needs to kind of understand like a lot of ACs. I can't say a lot of ACs, but like I know some ACs that like are just diehard ACs. A lot of
Mhm.
ACs are actually diehard ACs, but after some ACs, it's like I'm gonna AC until like I get that DP job.
Yeah.
You know, like
You know what? That's kind of funny. It was like I was listening to a podcast earlier that was talking about I just guess the way how things have changed,
mhm.
opposed from the traditional way of like coming in, working your way up, blah blah blah, or jumping in and just like doing your own thing and then kind of getting into that pretty much into the road of like the same path of someone that has been working their way up, and the next thing you know, you're side by side. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
they're talking by doing like your own thing, or like at that moment they're talking about YouTubers and stuff like that, but essentially it could work in the same thing for any other realm. But like that's something we should talk about is because we've seen it both ways of like working solo, small team, DIY and stuff like that, and then the other side of working with the actual proper team. Everyone has a job and doing what they do. What do you enjoy more?
I've I've I enjoy working with the team. I
Yeah.
feel like, you know, even though it hasn't always worked out the way I wanted to, I've always
Mhm.
been trying to drive that, only because like I have I have the few people around me that I know love doing what they do. And like even though we all have like kind of like this one core skill, or like this one core goal,
Mhm.
where it's like we're all trying to be like, let's say we're all trying to be directors, but it's like, all right, cool, which director has like their second goal is like learning producing. All right, cool. Like you could be a director, producer director,
Mhm.
who's
Mhm.
who's trying to learn to be a DP. All right, that person could be a director DP. Who's trying to be like get more into editing, that person could be director editor.
Mhm.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So like building out a team, because I find teams, yo, it makes things so easy. Like think about
Trust.
think about it in any sense. It's like, yo, if you're doing something and you have to, let's say you're shooting a video, and like this is something like like it's doable in terms of doing
Mhm.
everything, but now you have to split your brain power 20% here, 20% here, 20% here, 20% here. Why? Like when you work with a team, you get 100% moving the camera.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
AC is 100% focusing. Director is 100% directing.
Directing.
Lighting is
Yes. Yes.
100% make sure lighting is good. Wardrobe
Yes.
100% wardrobe. Set
Yes.
100% like set. You know what I mean? And it's like once those
Mhm.
things happen, it's like you get to go and say like this and this and this, and after it's like if something's off, that person that doing that gets to be like, oh, this
Yeah.
is off. I gotta go fix it, and they fix it. It's not
100%.
yeah. So like working with a team is so much easier, and then after it's like even knowing like I I can do certain things, but I know it will be more efficient for me to get someone else to do it. Oh, that makes
Mhm.
things so much easier. It's like,
Yeah,
yo,
man. It's just like working in that workflow of like having people like that know what they're doing what they love, and like 100% into it. It
yeah,
just alleviates so much stress. Cause yeah, like that whole thing with the looking back on like so many solo projects. And again, like you're saying, if the budget wasn't there, so it's like it is all on you to do at that moment, right? It's like, yeah, your brain power is split between so many different things that like, yeah, you're still creating an amazing project. And yes, this is like giving you, I feel like, the best hands-on battle tested, like anything. You're gonna walk into any set and be able to do anything at this point if you're able to do. Because at the end of the day, I think any filmmaker has to know how to wear all hats.
I
Like you should know how to do everything going
yeah,
onto a set,
I think
even though you're not
there's
going to.
I think a little there's a pocket for there's a pot like the thing is, and like for anybody listening, there's a pocket in which you should know and understand when to say no. And like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people say that, and like the reason I say that is because like no amount of money is worth the stress. Like there's a certain amount of money that's not like worth the stress that comes with it. It's like if someone says like, "Yo, I have $1,500 And like you think of it like $1,500, that's crazy. But think about this as well. Yo, someone's gonna give, or that person can and will potentially give someone else $15,000 to hire people to do all those
Mhm.
individual jobs that
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
about to do and stress.
Yeah.
And like, and I had a conversation with a client that reached out
Mhm.
to me to do something, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, here's the price. And they're like, oh, shoot, okay, that's kind of expensive. And I'm like, yeah, but this is what's going to change a 12-hour job into a 4-hour job. He's like,
Mhm.
oh, he's like, really? Like, can you explain? I explained it to him. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
if we have a team, if I have more people helping, which yes, it raises the budget, but it raises the budget for convenience and less stress. I don't want the stress. You don't want the
Mhm.
stress. If you're gonna give me the stress, like essentially what I told him is like you're kind of still gonna pay the same amount of money because my stress is worth X amount of like I can't actually put it on paper, but I'm gonna put on paper
Mhm.
that here's my stress cost. And like
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying with that.
here's my stress cost. Like it's gonna cost
Yeah.
this much money because I know this is the amount of stress that I'm gonna go through throughout the day for
Mhm.
the extra six
Mhm.
hours that it's gonna take to shoot this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then he's like, okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. Just like bring your team and like let's get this done,
Mhm.
whatever. And like,
Yeah.
yo, it helped, but it didn't help. And like we still stressed. And thank God I
Mhm.
wasn't like editing on that, but it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
like they're still stressed to like some of the stuff. And it's like, yo, being on that, I was like, yo, really having a team helps. Having like
Mhm.
we had someone help with lighting. We had some like I had somebody assist me on the day, which is like it was interesting because like I think educating the client, as we've talked about many times
Many
throughout our
times,
lives,
yes.
not even just on the podcast, through our lives, is the most
Yeah.
important thing because like if someone brings me on a roll and like they're like,
Mhm.
yo, we need you in here to DP essentially. And when I pull up and you're asking me to direct, and I'm like, because that is something in my catalog and something I charge for,
Mhm. Mhm.
no, I'm not gonna direct
Mhm.
because
Which makes total sense.
that's an extra cost. I'm
Yeah.
gonna point the camera, you call action. I'm gonna set everything, make sure the lighting's good, make sure
Mhm.
camera frame rates, everything's good. Hit record. You call cut, cut. I'm not gonna direct. I'm not gonna like organize everything. I'm not gonna call the
Mhm.
shots. Like no, like I'm here to do this. I understand like creative input. Yeah, I'll like offer some creative input, but I'm not gonna direct the whole day and tell you like, okay, you need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. And it's like this shot needs to be like this, like this and this. It's like that's on you. You send me a treatment
Yeah.
so I can see what the framing and everything. Good, we got that down. Like next, like
Yeah, man. No, definitely. Like even seeing that too, it's like this. There's the fact that everything's it's a team game, and like the fact that I feel like a lot of people play solo because of necessity at the time being. But
yeah,
like when you finally get to that place where it's like you can finally be a team, because that's what it's always supposed to be. This is a team game. This is something to create things with people, collaborate, have people work on the parts of like you're not gonna have someone build a whole condominium by themselves. You have the
yeah,
architect be the
yeah,
architect, you have the people do this. But you know what, even to, like to your point with the whole thing with the DPing stuff, because lately with me, I've been working closely with like writers and stuff, you know what I mean, and the post side. And the pre side when it comes to seeing writers and like how they work and the importance of them, like how important it really is to like that's a whole new world opening up of like how writers structure everything and
mm-hmm.
pretty much can make your life so much more easier even before going into a shoot. You know what I mean? Like depending on what it is, but especially from like a documentary or I would say even a assertive documentary where you're like pretty much not scripting things, but you're putting it in a place where people know what they're going to be doing before they do it. You can really have the whole edit done on paper. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been going through paper edits and stuff lately, and like the whole edit's there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're coming onto set to shoot. It's way quicker, and then in post, it's so much faster. So that, and then of course, I think the importance of account directors is something that I was like, what I mean, that barrier between just allowing you to like work on creative without having that, again, like you're saying, the stress of like a client being able to physically hit you up, having that barrier in between, I feel like is something that's like invaluable as well. And their jobs are just as important. Like it's just seeing this
Yeah.
whole moving structure from a production, post, pre, and administrative side, and seeing how it's really this team game of like everyone working together to create this one thing that you double click to watch. You know what I mean? But can last forever and has such a huge impact. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's crazy. I even seeing, because we saw each other the other day, and I know you got some new toys. So we started talking about a little bit of the gear talk for all the gear heads out there.
Okay, this is a little section. We're not gonna introduce it. We're not gonna make like huge taglines and stuff. But this is the gear talk.
Actually, you know, we should have something popping right now that has this whole
gear talk.
Gear talk.
Tim Westwood. Anyways, Charlie Sloth, fire in the booth.
Oh, you need to be wearing a white t-shirt right now. Like that guy, man. Oh man. Yeah, what'd you get? Let the people know.
So I've been shopping around for gear. So for anyone listening, as I kind of mentioned earlier, like me and my friend group having like our little break-offs, and it's like, if you didn't know, now you know. I'm the director / DP guy that's just trying to like, you know, tag team both those things. But essentially I was shopping around. I had the Black Magic in hand just to like use whenever I needed to. I think I've mentioned that before. Shout out to Derek. And essentially I was like, yo, I need to get my own camera. A friend of mine had gotten, drum roll please. Anyways, most of you guys follow me, so you see it. A friend of mine got the Z Cam, and I'm just like, yo, I've heard about this. Let me test this. Hit him up. We tested some stuff. And I was like, yo, this is a cool camera. Like, this is actually a cool camera. It does a lot of like the form of it fits perfectly on a Ronin M. So I was like, dope.
It really is like a small form factor. Like when you actually just look at the brain, it kind of reminds me of that red. What's that new red that came out?
So that's the thing. I still want the red Komodo. But anyways,
okay.
I looked at it and I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like whatever this is, like form perfect. That's a check mark. Ding. What else? Like the coloring is really good. I like the color. Like I like the color science of it, especially the fact that in body. You can put like the LUTs on it just so you can see what your things are looking like, and it outputs it. It's not like, all right, cool, let's see. Like other cameras does it in terms of like just like the display LUT. Like Sony does it, Blackmagic does do it, but let me say this: I know Sony one is good, but this one was like the closest thing that I could find, like for a cinema camera with that built-in LUT of like the Rec 709. Like depending on what profile you pick, they have different like built-in LUTs for, or like they have different calculations for how the LUT affects it. So the built-in LUT for the Rec 709 for like the Z-Log and the flat, oh bro, it's like, it's amazing, right? And the thing is, it's like if you can also shoot Rec 709, which like has a slightly, and like you can change a few things on it so that it looks however, but like the Z-Log to Rec 709 built in, yo, it looks so good. I was like, yo, this is amazing. Like this is dope. I like just from that alone, and like the dynamic range, like I think it says 14, but it feels like 15. Like we're shooting some stuff outside, and it was like, it wasn't high sun. It was still like, it was on its way to golden hour. It wasn't quite golden hour yet, but you're seeing the details in the sky. You get the people standing outside on like the balcony, and like everything. I'm like, this is dope. Like this is a buy. Like this is a buy. Copped it. Now wait for it, people. Dramatic pause. Here, throwing a sound effect. I will go to the studio and make this. Dramatic pause. Yo, I got it, and I downloaded the app. It has a phone app.
Okay.
It has a phone app.
I think this is what you showed.
So for anyone that has a Canon, you know, a phone app, dope. That's cool. Yo, I think with the Canon, I think they updated it recently or more recently for like their R line and their like the 5D. But wait for it. And I'm dragging this out because this shit is crazy. So yo, the phone app, you can actually control the whole camera. You can change
Oh,
everything. The phone app is actually a picture perfect photo reference of what you're getting in camera.
yes, because I remember when you were like pulling focus and like on the phone,
If you want, you can
and
you
it
can be
was
like, yo, DP, here's a monitor, and like attach like use it
question. When you were pulling focus on the phone, was that with the follow focus app or
with
is that with
no,
the phone
that
app?
is not with any app. That was with actual like wireless follow focus.
For the for the follow focus, or was it for the camera?
It's for the camera. The follow focus is it's like the nano. The nano, like you put it's like the
Yeah,
gears, everything. It's like the follow focus, but I was using my phone as a reference monitor. And
but and is that through the camera app?
it's
That's
through
not
the
the camera
camera
app.
app.
Sorry,
Yeah,
like through
yeah.
the Z Cam.
Yeah, through the Zcam
Oh,
camera app.
okay.
Right?
Got you. Okay.
And now like to continue praising this thing, there's no latency. Like there's no like, okay, cool. Someone walks across the screen and then after like or walks across the camera,
You're
then like
seeing it after.
you're
Yeah.
seeing it after walking. No, it's like, which is why I say you can use it as an actual, like you can put on a tablet, put it on whatever, give it to the AC and say, pull focus for me. You can give it to the director and be like, here's what's going on right now. If I didn't have a monitor, I can get a clamp this on in front of my thing and watch what's going on off of this phone.
That's amazing. That's
So
amazing.
for one of my setups, I actually have my phone because like you want to eliminate wires when you're using the Ronin, just because wires get in the way. So for one of my setups, I actually use my phone as the monitor and eliminate the wires because obviously you put a CFast in, so now there's no wires connecting the you have no wires connecting the SSD, which is what I usually use.
Oh yeah. The Samsung one, right?
For the battery, you use like what is it, an MPF 550, whatever it is, like a smaller Sony battery, so it's like slim. So like it's like literally just there. And then like literally you have this little cube. You put the lens on it. You put the antenna on it just so like you can have like a distance on when you have like the Wi-Fi connection for the phone. But yo, you're right there and you have everything, and it's just like this small little box on this stuff. You're seeing everything on your phone, and like, yo, bro, you're flying it. And it's like, I'm like, once I got that, like that was like after I bought it already. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like this is actually a great buy. And not to mention, like they have some features in it that aren't like you're not gonna use it, but like for like your video vloggers and like people that like now we're in this world of like Zoom calls and everything, you can actually use the camera as a webcam. You don't have to download anything extra, whatever. USB-C into the back of the camera to USB or whatever you want, or USB-C to plug it into the computer. You can go into the menu and actually change it, and there's a webcam setting. There's just a flat out webcam setting, and I guess it's
So is there any cons with this camera that
like
you found so far?
like any camera, they have their rolling shutter because it doesn't use global shutter, which is why I was like, I really like what I've seen from the Komodo having the global shutter.
Gotcha.
Rolling shutter. Like, no, I don't. You know, the thing is, it's like I'm coming from a place where I've actually have very little, or I've always had very little. And like when I make my upgrades, I make the upgrades because of like I don't make upgrades just to make upgrades. It's like, all right, cool,
It's not a small upgrade that's just
No.
like, hey, I just need this, and it's like one thing. Like this is like a big improvement to
yeah,
your
it's
overall.
a big improvement to my overall workflow. Just knowing I have the cinema camera, something that one big thing that I actually really like about it is that it manufacture mounts. Like they actually have like the manufacturer made mounts. So it's like if I want to go and get a PL mount, I purchase the mount, which I'm going to shortly, and it's only like $160 or something like that.
Okay.
And it's an actual PL mount. So it's like you unscrew your EF mount, take that off, and you attach the PL mount to the sensor.
Are you gonna do that yourself, or are you gonna get them
I'm
to
gonna
do
do it
that?
myself. No, you don't have to get anyone. You can do it yourself.
No, it's just the fact that like, you're gonna get pretty close to the sensor there.
It's not like you're on the sensor. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
literally like, it's obviously there's distance, but it's like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
you just get a excuse me, you just get a, and that's the beauty of it with being able to do it yourself, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to go get a mount or a
Or
adapter
send it
converter or
in.
anything.
Yeah.
Send it in. I literally just get an Allen key that's the proper size, screw it out,
Yeah.
lift it
Nice.
off, put on the other one. I'm not touching any. Like I'm not touching sensors. We're not gonna like ruin
Yeah.
anything. It's literally
You're not
like
getting close to it
there's
like
enough
that.
space to me for me to be like, all right, pluck it
Mm-hmm.
out, put that in, screw them in. Now I have a PL mount. If I want a micro 4/3, screw it out, plug it in. But it's like, nah, I think
Nice.
the ability to use PL lenses without having to use adapters and all these things makes it
Mm-hmm.
so much better, because you don't have like, it's just like anything else. And like I kind of don't care what anyone tells me. To
Mm-hmm.
have an adapter is like having a middleman between you and like your business part, like who you and the client, so to say. You know,
Yeah,
things
yeah, yeah.
are like, you know, broken telephone. There's always gonna be some
Yeah, I
type of
get what you're saying.
miscommunication. There's always gonna be something that goes on in the middle there
Yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't make things run as smooth. So now I just have the
Mm,
straight connection sensor lens. I
nice.
don't have sensor adapter lens. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
got
straight
you.
straight there. So like that
Yeah.
was another selling point. I'm like, yo, and it has built-in NDs. So you have to buy it, and it's like you can get the built-in variable filter for it. That just that attaches. That's like a piece that just attaches literally straight to the plugs into the mount. So
Hmm.
there's, you know, there's like this gap, and like you can plug it in, like you can screw it out, screw it in. I love that it's like a lock thing as well. Like it's one of, it's
Got
not
you.
like a plug in twist. It's like a lock. So
Yeah.
like you put the lens onto the mount and you lock it in.
Oh, I know exactly.
You
Okay,
know,
okay.
like a cinema camera.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
You know, like your
It's
Reds or like your REs and stuff like that.
so this camera you say is like the camera for you. Like
This is
you
the camera for
found
me. Like, yeah, I've fucking love it, man.
that like hits all the right spots for
For
you.
now, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
my dream
yeah.
camera is the Arri Alexa, but hey, man, we're not there
Right,
yet.
of course.
The Alexa,
Of course,
I
that's
want
already like
the Alexa Mini. It's a nice
hmm
camera. I remember like
You know,
when that first came out, it was just supposed to be like the gimbal camera, or like, you know,
yeah.
that camera that you could put on rigs and stuff easy. And then
Hmm.
it slowly just became like, you guys actually put like one of your best sensors inside this compact camera, and it's cheaper.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And it's like, you know, it's
True.
funny how they did that. It's like companies like Canon stay away from
Hmm.
doing that. They're like, oh, we're gonna make this smaller, cheaper camera. Let's
They'll
downgrade the
cripple it.
sensor.
Yeah,
Like they do
something they'll
something
do
that
to
really
cripple it.
fucks up the camera.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay,
Yeah.
like obviously I'm not gonna buy this. This is crap.
Yeah. It's
But
true, man. Like that whole thing. Well, two things is one, like how you're saying now you found the camera for you. I feel like I've had this like aha moment as of late. With like finally having everything I need to like create the stuff I want to create.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, so right now, um, working on a short film challenge, which is like the best thing because it forces me to create the short film. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I always wanted to work on a short film, but it's like always found a way to kind of push it off in a way. You know what I mean?
you and I both.
So with this, it's kind of like, hey, what do I now? It's like kind of has somebody underneath me saying this has to be done by this date, and then whatever. But I never thought I'd be this guy, and I used to watch like Film Riot, and these guys say stuff, Philip Bloom, and I'd be like, it's easy for you guys to say because you have access to like fucking everything, but like we're really at a point right now where, and this is generally speaking for just like anyone that wants to create something, everything is good.
Yo.
Like
Yes. I had this conversation. I
everything
had
is
this
good.
conversation with my cousin the other day,
Mhm.
and it was like he's I don't he's I don't want to say he's new. He's still like
Mhm.
he's still learning. He's still, there's a lot,
Got you.
like he's still learning. We talk a lot about different things. And I've asked certain questions because like I'm just very curious about like the film culture and like the creative culture and like the states in general, and like
Yeah.
certain places. Like I know how it is in LA. I don't know how New York is. I don't know how Atlanta is. Like I know how Toronto is, because it's like we
Mhm.
have like a lot of these hubs, and like Toronto's pretty small, where it's like we go and we
Mhm.
know we're gonna see all of our creative
Mhm.
friends. Um, and it's like it was interesting just because like he's trying to build his first camera, and I'm just like, you
Gotcha.
know what? after we had the conversation, I told him what my build is, and he was very interested in getting like a similar build. And I was like, you know what? I spoke to him. I'm like, yo, what do you want out of this build? Because right now, what you could do, let's save money, get something for yourself that you can use to test, do a lot of practice shooting, do a lot of like other stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Based on like what his like breakdown is of what he wants to do and like what he feels his style is right now. Here's what you can do. Get a cheaper camera, get something that's like very entry level that will allow you to learn a lot of like camera movements, framing, because that's the key. Those are the key things. Like it doesn't
Hmm.
matter what kind of back to what you're about to say. Does
Yeah.
not matter
Yeah.
what camera you have.
Hmm.
Everything is good because like if you don't know framing and lighting and stuff like that, then like it doesn't matter that you have a $50,000 camera.
Yeah. It does not matter. Like you take a red, you take an Ari, you shoot the same
Yeah.
boring ass image with nothing to it, it's gonna look the same across the board. But yeah, like that, back to like just saying everything is good now. It's just like being in this mode of just like constant now, like create any idea that comes to mind, like okay, put it down on paper, now do it. um has really now got me to that point now where I just feel like in this flow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like just to like I've been like going online and I've been looking at a couple reviews. Like I looked at the Z Cam review after I saw you got it. I looked at the C70 that just came out, and just like looking underneath and like seeing all these people that, and this, you're not in this equation because you've been creating things, but like I'm talking about now people that are like wanting to get into film, and they are just so stuck on what camera to get. They haven't even
Yeah.
created anything yet. Like they haven't even shot anything yet. Like nothing. Like just go out there and shoot something,
I
and don't
prob
get caught up on the the R this. Like that's to get caught up on once you're doing stuff and you're like, hey, what's works best for me in this project? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, if you were shooting with the Black Magic and now you're shooting another project, it makes more sense to shoot with the Z Cam. But then you might see a project that you might say might make more sense to shoot with another camera. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it just works, like, because you've been using so many different ones. But I'm seeing all these young people like kind of just really cut up on uh specs and this before they even have done anything. And it's just like, damn, man, like I never thought I would be that guy, like ever. Like I used to watch reviews and stuff back in the day, and these guys like Philip Bloom, who's like legend, was like, you know, would talk about things. Ryan Connolly from Film Riot, and these guys would be like, "Oh, just like go out and take your story and shoot it." And I'm like, "Yeah, you guys are saying that, but you got this and that." And this is when back in the day before it was like Reds and stuff. This is, you know what I mean, shooting on like XHA ones with adapters, with the primary adapters and stuff. But even then, I was like, "Damn, y'all have that." So finally, like in this flow of like wanting to just create and just like, you know what, take an idea and like get it done. And like the stuff I've been buying lately, which is kind of funny, has been like, one, I've been buying a lot of grip gear, lights for sure.
See, and this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. And like back to like I don't know how much minutes ago when I was saying it's like, yo, we all have like, so if you haven't guessed it, Josh is part of my core group of friends that are like doing stuff where we're kind of like breaking off into different like sections. And like see Josh is like working on like grip gear and lighting, and like Josh is like to me like a really amazing editor and learned a lot of like coloring. And then it's like, you know, yo, like these are the things that like I feel like people aren't really like paying attention to. Like this guy got clamps. This guy got clamps. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like build a team that's gonna be able to like, because we don't know where things are gonna be. We don't know where things are gonna go. And like you need to make sure that, especially with like the way funds are running right now, it's like how much people around you are trustworthy for you to build out this team. Like I don't want a COVID infested team. You know what I mean? Like, I know my guy Josh is safe. I know I'm staying safe. I know like these next mans are safe. So it's like these are my guys. And like, yeah, like
COVID infested.
I'm not gonna be like, yo, Josh, let me borrow something, knowing that like that friggin' clamp is gonna have a piece of COVID coming to like
No,
my set.
man. First of all, everything gets wiped out.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That's before it even gets in the house.
the other day, my grandma came and she's in my room. She's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "You see me there with like disinfecting wipes, like just wiping down my shit." She's like, "Oh, what
Clean
are
it
you
all
doing?"
down.
I'm like, "Yo, I'm cleaning my shit." No COVID is entering this spot.
No, man. Honestly, that's a crazy thing too. Like, it's just even with the whole COVID thing of like changing things. Like, so yeah, man. Like as of late, the stuff I've been getting lately has been gear that's like not necessarily the gear I was always trying to get before. Like you said, it's lights, clamps, DIY diffusion silk, muslin, things I could like shoot through and soften and diffuse light and stuff in general. But just yeah, trying to start now, and even not even just that, but the fact of like props and things I can make and like build stories off of. So it's just like where I'm going with things now is just like my whole mindset has shifted and it's just been in total like create mode now. But last time we talked, we were talking about like what COVID was having us doing, like what we have plans for, what we wanted to do. Since we last spoke, which was like what, how long ago was the last episode we dropped?
Yo, you know, so funny. I was looking at something, and I think we dropped one episode in 2018 or 2019.
Yeah,
just one.
And that was it.
That was it.
Damn,
that was it. AKA the most consistently inconsistent podcast
in the world. But yeah, you were saying that there were some things that you wanted to do. Do you feel like you're actually doing that now? That you want to implement?
Of course.
When COVID just hit,
like we have like especially since I got the cameras, like literally testing as much as I can.
Yeah,
I think that's key, and that goes back to that whole thing when we're talking about like gear doesn't really matter. Just test your shit. I mean, I'm testing this stuff up because it's like a new camera, so I got to see like capabilities in like low light, obviously proper set, like it's a proper set. But yeah, that's all I've really been doing, testing, because it's just getting ready for like the film stuff, the same stuff that I've seen like you've been posting. Like you're doing like all this freaking crazy lighting shit.
Yeah, just like, playing with it, man, and just recreating stuff because of that site you showed me. No sponsorship, but I'm gonna say anyway. Shot Deck.
They need to sponsor us. If it ends up being like something you have to pay for, I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna send them this podcast and be like, "Yo, we shot you guys out."
Listen, we've been talking about you guys, but you know what? It's such an actual resourceful tool. The other day, I actually like created like a treatment using so much of those images from there. I was able to kind of like shot list some stuff out. So, yo, you showed me that, and it's still in beta, but it's actually so worth it. So I feel like
probably the best website
out there ever. And like once they turn it into an actual app, I think it's gonna be even 1,000 times better. But anyone out there that's listening, if you guys need some resourceful tools to kind of like plan your shots or like look at something as a reference, Shot Deck is the thing to go to, man.
What's the other one? Film Grab?
I haven't used that one.
Film Grab is hard to use because it's not hard to use. It's just like you can't search. You have to literally know exactly what film you're looking for.
The only thing I do wish I did kind of have in Shot Deck, and I don't know if they will open this, is like TV shows. Because there's a lot of TV shows that are done very, they're shot very, very well.
I know the only one that you really want like reference is Mr. Robot. So
that one
go
too.
Watch the show and screen grab it yourself.
Or even some of the comedies, because like, you know what I've been looking at now is like the because a lot of comedies, there's like barely any contrast in the lighting. It's like really, I want to say flat, but it kind of is in a way.
Oh, I'm gonna send you something.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna send you something. I know. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'll send you something.
So trying to see that to kind of play with less of the dramatic lighting and contrasty lighting and more of the comedic. You know, when you're watching those Steve Carell type movies and everything's just bright.
We'll save that for another day. But I know
another day.
I've been studying a lot of that. So like the lighting stuff. Yeah. I'll send you something. Right. I'll send you something.
So to wrap up, let's talk about what have you seen that has inspired you lately that can inspire somebody else?
Okay, so yo, when you wake up in the morning, go look in the mirror. That's the most inspirational thing you can do.
My heart.
What is I can't even say it. I can't say it right now. I'm trying to think. Have you watched? Wait. Have you watched Tenet yet?
No, I have not.
Yo, you know what? You know what I haven't said? You know what I haven't done today? I haven't sworn a lot. So, yo, you know what? Get the fuck up and go watch that shit. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
But how, Sway? Like, where am I supposed to see it, though?
Yo, the movie theaters, man. Fuck it.
That's what she did?
The social distancing in the movie theaters is crazy. Go watch fucking Tenet, bro. Stop being a fucking...
Watch Tenet?
Stop being a fucking...
I'll watch Tenet. I gotta see it.
I saved all my cussing for the end, so, like, just make sure you don't, like, you're, like, just, like, blur it out or, like, this isn't safe. This isn't safe for, like... This isn't safe for work. This isn't safe for like your mom, your auntie, your grandma, your kids. Nobody's safe. Not when I'm on the podcast. I fucking swear like a fucking trucker.
That sounds so sketchy. Nobody's safe. Your mom, your grandma, what?
Yeah,
But yo, the one thing I would say, okay, what's that artist's name? He's from Toronto. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name right now. He sings, but he's kind of like a rapper.
Bro,
I
what
know,
the
that sounds
fuck?
like that sounds like everybody.
You're explaining every Toronto artist right now.
He's kind of like kind of part of like OVO in a way.
Party Next Door.
No.
He's part of.
He's like kind
Weeknd?
of like almost like an Ethiopian type vibe where
The Weeknd.
like a Muslim guy. No, I'm pretty sure he's Muslim too. I can't think of his name. OVO. I gotta Google it right now. Basically, he had a music video that just came out.
Interesting.
And it's I gotta say his name first before I say it. He sings. You know who this person is.
He's in OVO or just affiliated?
Maybe OVO affiliated. And he sings like this.
That's every Toronto rapper, bro. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh, no. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Again, he's kind of like Muslim. He'll wear like the tam.
He wears what? Mustafa.
Mustafa.
You weren't really selling that, bro. You were like,
I was just
that was crazy.
Well, it worked. You figure. So
I know what you're gonna talk about. You're gonna talk about that scene where it goes from outside the car to inside the car.
Yes. Okay. Let me say it. Let me say
Go
it to
ahead.
the people. So I was watching that video, Air Forces, and that shot where it starts on the outside of the car, and then the camera pans in. And then goes out to the other side. Now, I was just trying to break down in my head how they did that. And I think it's two people in the back and a gimbal.
Can I ask you a question?
And a small
Have you
camera.
seen how
But
it
what
was
do you
done?
think? No, I'm guessing.
Okay. Well,
Or I'm guessing it's one person out the window. Okay, I'm guessing it's one person out the window, films it. Or, okay, one more try. A railing system. But I don't even think it'd be a railing system. Is it a railing system? Okay, cool. Like on a slider.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They
So that was my last
actually made a
thought.
custom fitted slider for it.
Okay. So
and for the sake of the podcast, when we drop something on the page, you will see exactly what we're talking about.
mm-hmm. Okay, so that was actually, to me, it was a cool shot. It was cool to be able to like not know and try to figure out how to. I was even thinking about how to recreate it. Oh wow. Okay. Oh wow.
Because say, oh wow.
Wow. No, wow. Okay, so right now it was showing me the Instagram page of how the shot was actually created. So that's pretty cool. You know what? Like I was thinking of like, okay, how it was done might have been more DIY, maybe on a small road and a small camera. Since cameras are really small nowadays, you could probably pass it to somebody else and it'll work. You know what? I think for a fun test, let's try to do it. Let's try to do it.
All
right, man.
All right, I'm gonna fail miserably, but I'm down to fail for 20 hours.
I think we can actually make it look really, really good, man.
While the car is moving, though?
Yeah, while the car is moving.
I don't know if you realize the car is moving in there.
No, I know the car is moving, but I feel like there's a way to recreate that shot with a gimbal or something small camera, and then
I mean, I'm down to take a risk, but like I know some of you guys don't like taking risks.
But I think if we slow it down too, like if we
you're gonna want to be inside the car
down,
for sure. I know you don't want to be outside the car. I'm down to hang outside the car.
Well, we both got to hang outside the car to get from one shot to the other. So I think if we both try, it'd be cool. But whatever, we'll save that for another day. But yeah, man. Other than that, it was great fucking catching up with you. It's been a minute and a half.
Yeah, for sure.
If anyone has, do we want to leave with anyone with anything?
Nah, you know what? I might drop. We talked about this a while ago. I think we're starting to build up a library of like raw clips for people to kind of like play around with. So
yeah, we said we wanted to do that. Yeah,
especially like a lot of the testing stuff that I've been doing. We can. I definitely have some stuff. You should send some stuff too. All that shit that you've been like shooting lately. Like
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we'll drop that for everyone that listens. You know what? I'll figure something out. Drop a little contest. Okay, I'm down.
Cool. Yeah, we gotta do that.
Some Air Force.
You know what? Let's make a promise right now. We'll have another episode the week after this.
Yo, this is a lie. This guy's gonna drop this episode in like 2 months. Mark my words right now. It's October 5th. This guy said we'll drop an episode in a week after this. He's gonna drop this episode by the end of October, just so he buys himself some time to drop this the second one, the top of November. Anyway, that's all right.
We'll see. All right, guys. Well, yo, It was great checking in. I hope y'all are being safe out there and
Let me talk my
still
shit.
creating as much as you can.
Yes.
And other than that,
eat Skittles. Stay hydrated. Love life. Keep filming.
stay COVID free. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, stay
All right,
COVID
man.
free, please.
All right, 100%. Peace, peace, peace.